So that's how you get from the shallow spot to impact, and it's just by keeping your arm on the trail side of your body, moving to the midline, not across it. The cross happens way up in here.
Yes, another day, another golf myth debunked with high-speed cameras, colorful 3D lines, and the promise of finally unlocking the secret to impact, and this time courtesy of Athletic Motion Golf. And this one came from you guys. You requested this multiple times, so I had to take a look. One of their latest YouTube entries, the create space myth is killing your golf swing, comes with all the familiar trimmings. Confident delivery, cool graphics, and the signature AMV vibe that says, hey, we have the data, you don't. Trust us. And look, I'm not here to say they're wrong. In fact, most of the video is technically sound. However, the problem is, like a lot of these biomechanically dense breakdowns, it feels less like a swing tip and more like a TED Talk at a PGA teaching summit, which is fine if you're teaching other teachers, but if you're teaching Joe the 15 handicap with tight hips, a high slice, and an annual pass to swing confusion, this video might not save your swing, it might just send it into witness protection. So let's start with AMG's big takeaway that most golfers are misinterpreting the idea of creating space. According to them, when golfers hear that cue, they tend to throw their arms out, shove their hips away, or basically do anything but move like an actual golfer. The better solution, AMG says, is to keep the trail arm moving towards the midline on the same side of your body and let the space happen naturally as a result of proper rotation, tilting, weight shift, and sequencing. In other words, don't create space, just be elite. The conclusion is summed up with this mic drop moment.
So that's how you get from the shallow spot to impact, and it's just by keeping your arm on the trail side of your body, moving to the midline, not across it. The cross happens way up in here.
Which sounds really nice unless you're one of the 30 million golfers on earth who hears trail side of your body and immediately checks for a rash. But let's get something straight. I do love that AMG uses 3D motion capture. I really do. If golf instruction were a courtroom, 3D data would be the DNA'd evidence. But here's the thing, they present it like it's universal law, when in reality, it's more like evidence from a very specific crime scene, also known as the swings of elite golfers with hypermobile joints, years of reps, and often a former college golf background. The moment you start throwing around this must happen or all elite players do this, you're no longer helping golfers, you're just flexing your database. And again, don't get me wrong, it's a good flex. But when you say something must happen without explaining who it's for, what leads up to it, or what happens if the player can't do it, you're just handing out prescription pills without checking vital signs. So what about the 99%? This is where things get a little sideways. Because let's say you're a regular golfer, you've got a job, a family, a few aches, and a golf swing that's held together by 3 swing thoughts and a pre-shot prayer. You watch this video hoping for a nugget, a fix, maybe some clarity, and what do you get? Move your trail arm towards the midline, not across it. What does that even mean to a guy who doesn't know where his midline is? Heck, most golfers don't even know which pocket they keep their glove in, let alone how to self-diagnose trail arm sequencing patterns. You want to know what they hear? Oh no, I've been doing it wrong again. Time to change everything. That is the problem. These videos skip over cause and effect that leads players into poor positions in the first place. No one wakes up and says, you know what? I'm going to swing over the top today and throw my arms across my body just for fun. That motion is a reaction to poor tilting, bad sequencing, early extension, or whatever body matchup the golfer inherited from a YouTube tip 6 months ago. And if you've watched my content before, you already know where this is going. There are no musts, there are matchups. One guy keeps his trail arm more behind his torso, another has it slightly more across. One uses more lateral pressure shift, another rotates earlier. Some launch from internal rotation, others more from a neutral spine. The point is, tour players don't all agree on how we swing, so why are we pretending there's one trail arm path that applies to everyone? And the kicker, I'm sure AMG knows this, but like many modern instructors, they sometimes fall into the trap of oversimplifying elite biomechanics biomechanics into generic swing advice. And that is not helpful, that's just good marketing. You know what would have helped the average golfer? Instead of saying don't move your arms across your body, try this. If your hands race out at the ball, it might be a reaction to your upper body stalling in transition. If your trail arm crosses early, it could be because your wrist angles are dumping too soon. If you feel jammed at impact, the problem might have started with your setup posture and not your arm path. And that is how you connect elite data to everyday motion. Cause and effect, not positions and blame. But to be fair, AMG is incredibly sharp. Their visuals are clean, their points are precise, and their database of high-level swings is one of the best out there. But like many instruction platforms built on data, they do risk losing the human part of teaching, the context, the variables, the individuality. The create space myth might be killing swings, but not because it's a bad concept. It's because, like most golf tips, it's misunderstood, misapplied, and given without real understanding of why the golfer was creating space in the first place. So yeah, maybe create space isn't the move, but neither is telling a 12 handicap with a stiff thoracic spine to sequence like a tour player. Because at the end of the day, your swing doesn't need 3D data to make progress. It needs some clarity, intention, and a plan that works with your body and not against it. And maybe a little less YouTube at 11:30 p.m. A huge thank you to these incredible supporters on the screen and to you watching this video. Your support helps us bring our golf curriculum to low-income children around the world at no cost to them, just like our location in Cape Flat, South Africa, in partnership with the Hillard program. Please like, share, and consider subscribing. Together, we can give the gift of golf to kids who need it the most.